Hi, I'm Jeremy Harbinson, Head of Forensic Accounting at Harbinson Mulholland in Belfast. This update is aimed at lawyers and insurers in the United Kingdom who deal with personal injury and fatal accident cases. It's October 2011 and the 7th edition of the Ogden Tables has just been released. And we're getting some calls and inquiries from lawyers and insurers who are asking what difference exactly does this make to our claims and our potential claims. So we produced a briefing paper which sets out exactly what the changes are and gives you a few ready reckoners to help you look at your particular case. But I wanted to speak to you in person through the medium of HMTV just to give you this very brief news flash on what the key changes are. Now, you probably know that the Ogden Tables set out the multipliers for use in cases, and these have indeed changed. Why have they changed? Well, because they take into account the latest life expectancy tables. As life expectancy has increased, well, the multipliers have to increase as well to reflect the fact that the claim has to cover a longer period, and so that increases potential awards. But the key thing to note is that it doesn't affect every case. At the risk of stating the obvious, most cases actually don't include a future loss element, so obviously those aren't affected at all. And also, mortality rates really have varied very little in the period up to retirement, so it doesn't have a big impact on earnings. So the earnings heads of claim, future loss claims for earnings, really haven't varied much. But where you may want to look at it more is where you have to use a lifetime multiplier. For example, something like medical care, which may last throughout life. And again, it really doesn't make a big difference where the plaintiff is young. So, for example, if you have a plaintiff who is, say, 20 years old and a male, well, the difference to the lifetime multiplier under the 7th edition versus the 6th edition of Ogden is only about 1.5%. Now, when we're dealing with the future, there are many areas of uncertainty anyway, so I don't think that 1.5% is that significant a change. But it is important when you've got older plaintiffs. For example, if you had a 70-year-old man and he required medical care for the rest of his life, well, the 7th edition multiplier is about 10% higher than it was under the 6th edition. So you probably want to do the calculations afresh and update it. Also, if you have pension loss, obviously pension loss kicks in later in life, so that is affected and the tables for that are different. But it's worth bearing in mind that it's really only those plaintiffs who have a pension which is a defined benefit scheme, what we sometimes call a final salary scheme, where it really makes a difference. So you can see that it's a fairly small number of claims which are really going to be affected by these new tables. An issue that's about at the moment is the discount rate, and I want to just emphasise that the new Ogden Tables don't make any difference to the discount rate we are using. It's still 2%, because that is a matter for the Lord Chancellor to announce, and there has been no announcement on that. But what the new tables do is they actually give you a range of rates. The 6th edition said that you could give tables for discount rates from 0% to 5%. The new Ogden Tables give it from -2 up to +3%. So what exactly is the discount rate? Well, it's basically the inverse of an interest rate. Basically, the idea is that a lump sum is awarded now and you invest that, and part of the interest you get on your investment is used to pay for the costs as they arrive. So what the discount tables are doing is assuming a rate of interest, and it's called a real rate of return, and it's basically the difference between the interest rate that you can get on a safe investment and the rate of inflation. Now, you probably know that interest rates are at a historic low at the moment, while inflation is running currently at about 5%, which is actually above that rate of interest. And so, rather unusually, our real rate of return is currently negative. So the new tables take account of that eventuality should the Lord Chancellor make an announcement. So it hasn't actually made any difference to the claims that are going through at the moment. So in summary, therefore, for a lot of claims, the tables make no difference. For the earnings heads of claims, the differences are pretty marginal and insignificant. Where you have to watch out is where you've got an older plaintiff and you've got lifetime loss, or where you've got a pension, particularly a defined benefits pension loss. So all of this is set out in a bit more detail in the briefing paper, and you can get that by emailing us at trina@harbinsonmulholland.com or by contacting us through our website. And if there's any help that you would like on any of your claims or cases, or if you think that you could benefit from our experience, please do contact us. So I hope that this very brief update has been of some help, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.